Alright, y'all, welcome back to another one. Today we about to be acting to a God's Grove. And we about to be looking at the odd NBA moments that will have you scratching your head. Before we get into the video, make sure y'all hit the note and subscribe. Let's go ahead and check this video out.
When you have as many games as the NBA does every single year, it's inevitable that some odd occurrences are going to go down. And today we're going to be taking a look at a handful of them. Here are odd NBA moments that will have you scratching your head. Enjoy the video. Heading into this February 5th, 2014 matchup between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the LA Lakers, people kinda knew that this wasn't gonna be your normal game, due to the fact that the Lakers only had 8 available players. But no one expected it to be this weird. As I just mentioned, the Lakers were missing several players due to injuries, but the show still had to go on. LA was up big in the second quarter, but unfortunately Nick Young suffered a knee injury and did not return to the game. So that meant that they were down to just 7 players. Fast forward to the fourth quarter, Jordan Farmar couldn't go any longer either due to leg cramps, leaving them with just 6 available players. Then, shortly after, Chris Kaman fouls out of the game. Now things were getting really interesting, because the Lakers were now stuck with only 5 players. What more can go wrong? Well, Robert Sacre would also pick up his 6th personal foul of the game, meaning there was no way for them to continue with just 4 players. Well, not so fast, because according to NBA rules, each team shall consist of 5 players. No team may be reduced to less than 5 players. If a player in the game receives his 6th personal foul, and all substitutes have already been disqualified, said player shall remain in the game and shall be charged with a personal and team foul. Basically, Robert Sacre was allowed to stay in the game because there was no one left. Things got so bad that even Steve Nash came out to the bench in uniform, just in case he was absolutely needed, even though he never planned on playing in this particular game. And this was also when this famous Chris Kaman bench picture was taken. Incredibly, despite all the chaos, the Lakers actually ended up winning the game. It's extremely rare, but sometimes we see players accidentally run towards the wrong basket, and even accidentally score on the wrong basket. Key word being accidentally. But in the case of Nate Robinson, he looked to have intentionally shot at the wrong basket.
To take away the right-hand pass, Knicks conceded.
And Nate Robinson took that shot.
Mike D'Antoni is all over Nate Robinson right now.
He put it in the net basket.
It was after the buzzer, Nate Robinson saying it was after Mike D'Antoni is hot right now.
Well, that is a ridiculous move by Nate Robinson.
Now sure, he probably knew that 0.5 of a second would easily expire before he could get that shot off. But my question to him is, why even risk it? I mean, he clearly made it, so he should consider himself lucky that he didn't get that shot off in time. Otherwise, his team would have been even more mad at him than they already were. When Brandon Jennings was selected 10th overall by the Milwaukee Bucks in the 2009 NBA draft, you would think that he would consider that one of the most important days of his life. But he was seemingly a no-show when David Stern initially called his name.
With the 10th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Brandon Jennings of Compton, California, and Lodomatica, Roma.
That's strange, because we usually see second rounders not even bother to show up in person to the draft, but not when it comes to a top 10 pick. Now the story doesn't end there, it gets even stranger. When the Phoenix Suns drafted Earl Clark 14th overall a short time later, he wasn't there either, but somebody else was.
With the 14th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns select Earl Clark from the University of Louisville. Earl is not here, but the 10th pick in the 2009 NBA draft by the Milwaukee Bucks Brandon Jennings is here, so why don't you welcome him?
I don't know if I've ever seen that before, but you know what they say, better late than never. It was said that he and his agent wasn't quite sure where he would land in the draft, so he decided to just watch it somewhere else in a more private setting with his family instead, and then apparently rushed to Madison Square Garden after he found out he was drafted by the Bucks. I mean, he must have not been too far away if he managed to make it there just 4 picks later. At first glance, you might be confused about why Chris Kaman decided to shove Reggie Evans to the ground during Game 4 of the 2006 first-round series between the Clippers and Nuggets. But if you were to watch the replay, you'll clearly get why.
Why did he push Reggie Evans down? Because we'll slow it down. Evans,
what do you mean
left
he wasn't
hand,
too happy? Why would he be happy about that?
As he was got caught with his hand in the cookie jar and
Here's Chris Kaman himself describing it in the most simple way possible.
When he grabbed my nuts. Yeah, when he grabbed. Let me just say it. Yeah. Oh wow. No, I mean not really. It just shocked me. It was just so surprising. I was just like, wow, you know, like it was unbelievable. I mean,
these nuts, jeez.
Whether you like it or not, there are some kids who look up to NBA players as role models. So that's why they gotta be careful of what they say or do, because their actions could end up having an influence on kids, whether they realize it or not. And let's just say that what came out of Scott Pollard's mouth is far from the advice you want your kids taking. For those of you who don't know, Pollard was a decent backup center throughout his career, but wasn't really a factor when he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So on March 11th, 2007, sitting there with nothing better to do, he decided to turn to the camera and give some advice to the kids watching at home.
Well, this time of year you have to be ready to play, because when you start going through 7-game series.
Now, he would later try to explain that he was actually friends with the cameraman and that he didn't realize the camera was on. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I find that extremely hard to believe. We all know that Dennis Rodman had the ability to get into his opponent's head very easily. And during a trip at the free throw line, he made Alonzo Mourning visibly uncomfortable. But not for trash talking, it was for a reason that you wouldn't really expect. It appeared that Rodman was checking him out, if you know what I mean. And you can clearly see that Alonzo sensed it, so he immediately stood straight up. Now you're probably thinking, okay, but how do you know for sure Rodman was checking out his backside? Well, when Mourning heads to the bench shortly after, he can be seen saying something to Rodman.
That's what great players do. They can struggle and still contribute. And I think he's done it in a lot of ways. He has 8 rebounds already, he has 20 points, so the numbers are good. And Dennis Rodman is turned around right now.
If I had to guess, I would say he was probably relieved that he got subbed out of the game. Before leaving the court following a Bulls and Kings game in late 2014, it looked like Derrick Rose stole a kid's shirt out of his hands and then immediately walked away, which definitely had people confused for a sec. The kid was visibly excited when he saw that Rose was approaching, and his mother even whipped out the camera, expecting a special interaction to go down. But instead, he left them completely dumbfounded about what just happened. Now, of course, we can't necessarily jump to conclusions based off a short little 8-second clip. I would like to think that he probably went back to the locker room and had the whole team sign it, with somebody returning it back to the kid afterwards. But you still have to admit that this was a real head scratcher at first viewing. Alright, now I want to know some other odd NBA moments that I didn't mention down in the comments below. And as always, feel free to hit that like button if you enjoyed. Also, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.
That kid didn't get that jersey. Dang, boy. That would suck. Man, took it back. He thought you were trying to get some depth. Well, he was trying to keep some depth, but then he grabbed the jersey. The mom was trying to get a picture. Doesn't get a good interaction. So man ended up taking the jersey. Hopefully he did give it back and signed it. But hey, make sure y'all like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.